Time for Twins Pod. It's gonna be a damn good show. Yeah.
Do you think there's any truth to this? Like some black people say this country is systemically racist. I don't think it's systemically racist, but I do think there's a system in place to ensure that black people destroy themselves.
Ooh, I this kind of systemic racism is
Mhm.
one of those words that can mean anything you want.
Yeah.
So then if you say, oh, you're saying people didn't used to be lynched, it's just, they kind of
Right.
tap
Mhm.
dance around it. It's like, define what you mean. I do think there are certain advantages I have over black people in certain communities.
Mhm.
I think there's certain advantages black people have over me. Like I can't go in certain neighborhoods that you guys can go into, right?
That's
Now-
probably
I
a good
can't go in those
advantage,
neighborhoods neither.
Yeah, but you'd have an easier chance than me because I'd be prey. outside.
Slightly.
But it's
Yeah.
still a slight
Yeah,
advantage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, does that really matter? At the end of the day, I don't think it does.
Mhm.
So this kind of systemic racism is often an excuse to kind of just
Right.
put over whatever
I agree.
policies you want to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't. What do you mean by like black people destroy themselves?
I think there's a system in place to ensure that black people destroy themselves.
Like our music.
Our music, television shows. Everything that's green light to entertain black people is like detrimental. Like our rap music, Sexy Ray, all these rappers, it just preaches violence and just sex. And it just,
Sexualization. Yeah.
yeah, it's just no accountability.
But I think it also a lot of those forms of entertainment are also geared toward white people and suburban white kids. Like, isn't the majority of rap music consumed by white
Yep,
people?
most definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, it's to both. And I do. You guys should really have Jesse Lee Peterson on, by the way.
Mhm.
Have you had him on?
No. He's reached out to us.
He's reached out. I just been busy. I want to go on the show. I see your 2 interviews with him.
Yeah.
It was great, especially how one of them ended. I was like,
that was my edit. Yeah. That was so great.
I was like, I want to see the rest. What
Yeah.
happened?
So I do think that speaking as a Jewish person,
Mhm.
if you think that some other community is going to come in and save you, you're crazy. It's never going to happen.
Right.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the more black people focus on being assets to their own community and taking responsibility for their own community with the limited resource they have,
Mhm.
first of all, the better it is for everyone in short term. It's also longer lasting because if you have those structures, which in some cases the welfare state has destroyed because there were these strong black
Right.
communities, before.
I think the infrastructure around the black community is it's to ensure that we victimize each
That's
other.
why would right. If you know what it's like, I'm going to go back to the bodybuilding thing because I'm speaking your language.
Okay.
Everyone will. There's a lot of people who tell you I can never be Jay Cutler. That's true, but you can sure be a lot more jacked than you are now, right?
Right.
So yeah, maybe you're a victim. Maybe the deck is stacked against you. That doesn't mean this is as good as it gets for you. You
Right.
could still, maybe you're not going to have the top of the top, but you could still be a lot better off than you are now. So
Right.
anytime you have, this is also this kind of the black pill thing in the sense of like the West is done. Anytime people convince you that it's a lost cause, there's
Right.
no hope, they've won. They don't have to do
Right.
anything. You're just going to pack it in, go home, and now they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. Do you think the Democrats were sincere when they was offering reparations?
It's sincere as a bribe.
Yeah. Rob, I think it was just a ploy to keep black people thinking a certain way. Do you
Here's-
actually think they had the sincerity behind it, that it was actually going to pay black people reparations? I'm totally against it.
Here's how the term reparations. Let's suppose I run you over and I break your leg, right?
Uh-huh.
Your hospital bill's 10 grand and then you're out of work for 6 months. That's 100 grand.
Mhm.
I give you 110, maybe some for pain and suffering.
Mhm.
I've given you reparations. We're square.
Mhm.
You are back to where you were.
Right.
If this reparations were true, that means the black people get a check
Mhm.
and racism's done. We're square.
Yeah.
They're not
Right.
saying that at all. They're not saying, okay,
They'll
this-
never say that.
they will never say it. They'll say this will pay off past injustice,
Mhm.
and now we can move on, and racism's done. They're
Right.
not saying that. So
Yeah.
it's not even reparations in their own. That's not what the word means. It's just literally a bribe. And first of all, this is also saying that a lot of those black people accomplished a lot in this country, given what they were up against in the past.
Right.
So, and people talk about this constantly, like Black history and things like that. This is trying to make out every single black person to have been a victim of racism, and to the same extent. And that's also not true.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I just like growing up black, I was taught to victimize myself.
Really? Like,
And,
how did they
Mhm.
say? Like, what form did that take? Because it's fascinating.
I
to me.
remember as a little kid, my teacher telling me, he said, "You'll never be a doctor, but you people are really good with your hands."
No, shut up.
Stuff like
Was
that.
it
Yeah.
a white
Well,
teacher?
There's white teacher.
Well, we grew up in the South, and the
Yeah.
country was different then. Because I'm going to be 50.
Mhm.
I'm not like 30, but the country's a lot different
Yeah.
when we grew up. But it's just like the black community. It's like they think they can't achieve greatness in this country just because the color of their skin. They actually believe that, and I was believing that for the first 25, 30 years of my life.
And my mom told me this because she grew up through Jim Crow South, and
Sure.
she had horror stories.
Of
She had
course.
bipolar stuff from the rest of her life.
Of
So
course.
I got all these horror stories, and she would always preach to me, hey, Democrats are for black people, Republicans are for lynching, and this stupid shit. So a majority of my adult life, I was always victimizing myself, and
But-
it really was a detriment until I actually woke up one morning and I looked in the mirror and said, I'm going to accomplish something with my life.
Yeah.
And that's when my life changed. A
Yeah,
lot of
and
black people.
but Democrats do not push that message.
Right.
Yeah.
They're pushing systemic racism. That's why I say there's a system to ensure that black people do not excel in this country. It's a system in place to keep them victimizing each other.
But I gotta say, it's not about having majorities having an alternative. Like just like how just having Elon owning Twitter is enough.
He's my favorite African American.
I have that line too.
Yeah.
Just that one outlet is enough to make up for all the other sites. There are a lot of black voices like the Hoteps who are pushing for responsibility, black excellence you can achieve. And as long as even there's a small possibility to have, and that number is increasing, I think, as long as you even have that voice out there as an alternative, it's going to reach, maybe not enough, but plenty of the right minds who are like, wait a minute. And I this was kind of a hokey example, but I think it is true that the Cosby Show, when he was on TV, he's a doctor and the wife's a lawyer.
Yes.
For a lot of people, it opened their eyes like, oh, wait a minute,
Yes.
you know what? I can visualize it now. And that's not a minor deal.
Yeah, now look what they're looking at.
Tyler Perry.
Oh, I thought you meant that you could be a doctor who's also a rapist and get away with it for decades,
Right.
and everyone will think you're America's dad. Not a bad gig.
Right.
That's what I thought you meant.
No, but that's logical what you said. Now you got like the real what is it, the Housewives of
Oh, Atlanta.
yeah.
You don't like
it's
Nene Leakes?
Huh?
You don't like Nene Leakes?
Oh God. It's the Antichrist.
I mean,
Daddy Christ. Like the filth that you see for and it's tailored towards black community.
And
It's
a lot
just-
of times you see black women behave a lot like
I,
men.
but I don't think it's tailored toward black. I don't think black men watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah, black women watch.
Black women watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a huge problem.
It is a problem because who wants to date a woman who's like that?
That's why I don't date them.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But-
let me ask you this real quick. Like you see some of the entertainment for black people, like the music, that show, Housewives. It's green. It's been green light.
I used to subscribe for a little bit to the Zeus Network, so I really know.
Yeah, okay, cool.
The Zeus Network.
Yes, do you know it?
Yeah. It was King Bach was on it and D-Storm.
I was watching the Bobby Light show because it was absolutely hilarious. I'm like, okay, America's over. Like that's when I get depressed and like America's a wrap. Just this Bobby. Because are you guys fans of Rolling Ray?
I don't think I've heard of him.
Oh, Rolling Ray. He's in a wheelchair and he just talks
Rolling
shit.
Ray.
Yes, and he was on divorce court, and it was just after he's got his extensions, he's got his nails, he's got his purse. He's just
He's gay.
yeah, very.
Okay. I was like, is he talking about a woman?
No,
He's
no,
talking
it's,
about a guy.
Yeah, and he just got caught in a fire recently. He's in a coma.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I
Sounds
was
tragic.
It's tragic.
So I was going to ask you, it's like the black community embraces like ghetto stuff, right? But it's being greenlit to put out in front of black people. Why do you think that same type of entertainment is not greenlit and pushed in front of, let's say, the Jewish community?
Well, the Jewish community, Fiddler on the Roof is about the ghetto. So the ghetto was a Jewish thing for a very, very long time. I think the issue is when you are poor and you have no opportunities and you're not educated and you see an easy way to get money, you're young and dumb, it becomes a status thing.
Okay, so Jewish community is smart. Black people are stupid.
No, I'm not saying that.
Not when they're not educated.
But-
They don't have like resources. Like Jewish people are very successful,
Yeah.
very rich as a whole. That like compared to all
Do you
other
know what the
demographics.
biggest? Do you know what the biggest difference between these two communities is? You know what the answer is. What's the biggest difference?
Accountability.
Dad's
Initiative.
home.
Yeah, dads. Yes.
Dad's home.
Mhm.
It's. I mean, I don't know what the divorce rates is, especially in religious Jewish communities. It's extremely low.
Yeah.
Even when they have 12 kids,
They all have
you're
a
there.
strong nuclear family.
You're there. No, it's a strong extended family.
Mhm.
This whole nuclear family thing is like a 1950s invention. The extended family, where grandma and grandpa, are there,
Right.
and the black people had this back in the day too.
Yeah.
Aunts and uncles, everyone's around, cousins, because if mom's a drunk or dad's deadbeat, you have insurance, you got backup. This
Right.
nuclear thing is very recent and is not as good as the extended family, in my
Right.
opinion.
That's a
But
great point.
If
yeah.
you don't have dad around, you know what I mean? It's
You got mom and your grandma and
collapses.
your grandpa.
And mom's watch. I'm not even joking. If mom's watching Real Housewives
Mhm.
and that's her model
Mhm.
for how a woman should behave, what kind of man is that son going to grow up to
Right.
be?
Perfect example, Barack Obama.
well, he was raised by white people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extended family.
Yeah, extended
Oh
family.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a perfect example
Yeah.
what you shared.
Yeah.
It's time to give up our new giveaway. It's a Dodge Ram power truck, and we about to do something we ain't never did before. It's a camper. Not only you get a brand new truck, you get a camper with it too, and $10,000 in cash.
Hey Keith,
Yeah,
we've given away over $2 million in trucks and cash and prizes.
we give them back to the people who support us. Instead of giving money to Facebook to advertise this stuff,
Yeah.
they censor us anyway. So I say, you know what? Incentivize our own people to already support us. It's a win-win for everybody. Go to officialhodgetwins.com. Anything you buy from the site gets you automatically into the win. Yeah.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. See official rules for details.
Yeah.